Welcome everyone to this explainer. Today we're diving into a fascinating paradox hidden inside one of India's most sacred sites, the Rameswaram Jyotirlinga. It's an incredibly ancient place, but it holds this beautiful secret about duty and devotion that literally rewrites the rules of divine hierarchy. It's a story that perfectly illustrates how divine relationships really operate, and we're going to break it down step by step. Let's get right into it.
So, let's start with a paradox that completely defies what you might expect. At Rameswaram, there's a strict tradition. A devotee's shrine actually takes absolute precedence over God's own shrine. I mean, how is that even possible, right? Why would the supreme deity, Lord Rama, establish a rule that you must worship a shivling brought by his devotee, Hanuman, before you worship the one established by Rama himself? It's a wild mystery, and it's exactly what we're going to uncover today.
Which brings us to our first point of focus, Rameswaram's biggest mystery.
When you visit Rameswaram today, you don't just find one singular point of worship. There are actually two shrines sitting right side by side. One is a shivling established personally by Lord Rama. The other, placed right next to it, was brought all the way from Mount Kailash by Lord Hanuman. The fact that these two shrines share this physical space is our very first clue, highlighting an absolutely incredible bond between the divine and the devotee.
But why exactly do they sit side by side? Well, that takes us back in time. Ravana's death and Brahma Hatya sin.
The absolutely crucial concept we need to understand here is Brahma Hatya. You see, while Ravana was the main antagonist of the Ramayana, he was also a deeply learned scholar. He was the son of a prominent Brahmin. According to ancient texts, defeating a scholar of that magnitude incurs a severe spiritual weight, a massive sin known as Brahma Hatya. And here's the thing, even Lord Rama, despite fighting for a totally righteous cause, wasn't exempt from this cosmic law. To free himself from this heavy burden, the sages advised him that he had to perform a very specific act of purification. He needed to worship Lord Shiva.
Things started happening really fast after that. Following Ravana's defeat, the sages issue their serious warning about the Brahma Hatya sin. Recognizing the gravity of this, Lord Rama makes the immediate decision to worship Lord Shiva. And where does he decide to set up this worship? He actually stops at the exact same beach where he'd previously built the Great Bridge to cross over to Lanka. This deeply historic, charged stretch of sand is the very location we now know as Rameswaram.
Now, Lord Rama needed a divine shivling for his purification, which brings us to the difficult journey to Kailash.
Naturally, Lord Rama turns to his absolute most capable devotee, Hanuman. The mission is intense, to say the least. Hanuman has to receive the command, travel all the way to the towering, freezing peaks of Mount Kailash, retrieve a divine shivling directly from Shiva's abode, and then make it all the way back. And he has to do this before a strictly ordained auspicious time, the Shubh Muhurat, completely expires.
So as Hanuman is literally flying toward Kailash, the clock is ticking relentlessly. The Shubh Muhurat, that perfectly aligned cosmic window of time dictated by the stars for the ritual, is rapidly slipping away. You can almost feel the tension building on the sands of Rameswaram as the sun moves across the sky. It's like a cosmic ticking clock. The entire success of Lord Rama's purification depends completely on meeting this strict deadline.
Of course, the sages gathered on the beach start to panic. They are watching the stars, sweating all the details. It's an incredibly high-stakes moment, and you could just imagine these deeply serious scholars anxiously pacing back and forth on the sand. They know that missing the Shubh Muhurat could ruin the purification ritual entirely. Their anxiety just creates this massive pressure cooker of a situation.
And then, the harsh reality of geography sets in. Kailash is just incredibly far away. Despite Hanuman's immense speed and unparalleled dedication, the sheer distance is simply too great. He gets delayed on his long journey back. He's doing everything in his power, but time waits for no one, right? So now, Lord Rama is faced with a nearly impossible choice. Does he wait for his beloved devotee and miss the divine window, or does he proceed without him to fulfill his cosmic duty?
This dilemma forces a moment of brilliant divine improvisation, the auspicious time and Ramalingam.
With the Shubh Muhurat literally about to expire, they end up using what is right beneath their feet. Mother Sita lovingly molds a shivling right out of the simple beach sand. And to ensure the deadline is met perfectly, Lord Rama formally installs the sand shivling with all the proper, elaborate rituals just in the nick of time. Because it was established by Lord Rama himself, this specific, beautifully earthly shrine became known as the Ramalingam. It's just this wonderful reminder that sometimes the most profound devotion is fashioned from the absolute simplest materials at hand. But wow, imagine the emotional whiplash of the very next moment. Shortly after the rituals wrap up, Hanuman finally arrives from Kailash, carrying the divine shivling. He rushes to the beach, completely exhausted but so eager to serve, only to find the installation is already complete. The rituals are done. The Ramalingam is just sitting right there in the sand. You can imagine the profound heartbreak and the crushing disappointment Hanuman must have felt, genuinely believing he had failed his lord.
But Lord Rama is an ocean of compassion. He sees his devotees' sorrow, bringing us to our final chapter, Vishwalingam, honoring the devotee.
So we're left with this really stark contrast. On one side, you have the Ramalingam, made of humble beach sand by Rama himself. On the other side, the new arrival, a completely divine artifact brought from Kailash by Hanuman's sheer willpower. To comfort Hanuman, Rama takes his devotee's divine shivling and installs it with full respect right next to his own, and he names it the Vishwalingam.
But Lord Rama doesn't just place them side by side and call it a day. He actually elevates his devotee for all of eternity. He makes this powerful decree. He says, "Whoever comes here must first worship the Vishwalingam, brought by Hanuman. Only then will the worship of my Ramalingam be considered complete." Think about that. He intentionally subordinates his own shrine just to honor the effort, the love, and the pure devotion of Hanuman.
The physical placement of these twin shrines isn't just some architectural quirk. It's a permanent standing monument to empathy. It teaches us such a profound lesson. Duty was fulfilled through the sand lingam, but devotion was immortalized through the divine lingam. It really shows us why this matters even today, you know? True leadership and compassion often means stepping back so that those who support you can truly shine.
Which leaves us with a final thought to ponder. Is the order of worship at Rameswaram just a rigid, ancient temple rule? Or is it the ultimate proof of God's unconditional respect for a true devotee? It shows us that in the eyes of the divine, pure devotion outranks even God's own creations. Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer. I really hope this deep dive into Rameswaram has given you a whole new perspective on this beautiful piece of history.